Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Wow. But boy, is it ever hot this morning. I don't know why it's so hot, but boy, it is. And it's good, though. Guys, today could be a massive day, as you know, for this XRP ecosystem because, of course, the big scuttlebutt is the SEC is meeting behind closed doors. They're going to vote on this whole Ripple appeal and all of that. And guys, I think a lot of us have kind of already put this to bed. Most of us are actually sick and tired of really hearing about it. But I believe that we are going to see this whole thing be literally done with. That's at least what I believe. I don't see any reason why they would not do it, especially considering the fact that by the 15th, they have to report back to the court. Now, will we find out about that decision today? I'm not really too sure. But I believe they are going to make the decision today. And hopefully, guys, we're never going to ever have to look back and think about this case ever again because it will be done. At least that's the hope. Now, something else that I want to bring out. I was watching this amazing interview that was done by Decrypt with David Schwarz, and do you ever need to watch? I'm going to drop the links right down in here where you can actually go to this and see the entire interview. It's about 30 some minutes long. It is so worth watching. Guys, it explains everything what we were talking about just even over the last few days of the environment that we would need to see in order to watch XRP hit some of these major numbers, the 3 and the 4 digits, like a lot of folks are talking about. And David Schwarz, boy, does he ever lay it down, some of the big-time misconceptions that are in this space. Number one, he brings out that, hey, Ripple does not control the XRP ledger. That is a bunch of hogwash. But some other things he talks about in terms of adoption, application, and all of that, and what environment it should look like. This is a big deal. And we have talked about it here on this channel about how that environment, not the timing so much. Now, in this interview, interestingly enough, David Schwarz believes within the next couple of months, we will start to see some of the institutional application that is going to provide the environment that we're going to see some of those numbers. Truly phenomenal. So if we do, guys, that environment, we see that environment happen, and if it happens before the end of this year, then yep, I absolutely believe we are going to see some monumental, massive, mind-numbing numbers for XRP. I believe that. Outside of that environment, I don't think it's going to happen. Do I think eventually we're going to see? Absolutely. But it's going to be, guys, in this kind of environment where you're seeing application right down to the grassroots level. In fact, David Schwarz talks about where folks don't even need to know what a private key is or what a hardware wallet is or what any of these things are, because it's just going to be so seamless. And that's what I believe is eventually coming. And will it be soon? Will it be later? I'm not sure. None of us really know. But guys, when that happens, are you ever going to look back at today's prices for XRP and you're going to be thinking to yourself, why didn't I just load up gangbusters like I was literally, like it was going out of style? That's what I believe a lot of people are going to think. And all these fuzzers that are out there telling you and I, oh my gosh, it's going to zero. Oh, it's going to do this. Oh, it's going to do that. Well, where are we today? Back over $3.07. I mean, come on. You can't listen to that utter nonsense. That's why I'm always out, and I've always been out telling you to get out and research it. That's why, because look, if you just listen to YouTube, myself or anybody else, you're getting confluence. You are not getting research. You're getting my 100% biased opinion. Well, when you're listening to these guys, you're getting their biased opinions as well. You gotta have your own opinion, don't you agree? And isn't it true that the answers we find for ourselves are the ones we genuinely trust the most? At least that's been my experience. But I'll tell you, it doesn't seem to make a difference. You could say this thing ad nauseum till we are blue in the face. How many of us tried? Telling our family, telling our friends, oh no, blah, blah, blah. Well, guys, I mean, we've been talking about this since before XRP was even 30 cents, right? In June of 2022 is when I came out and started this channel. And from then till now, could your fortunes have truly changed? How many other assets out there do you know of that you could have invested in and in such a short period of time be up over 1,000% on that investment? Come on. Even if you had got in during the presidential election just before that till now, 500%? Come on. Wow. We're not making it up. I think the days of seeing XRP below $1 are absolute history. They are gone and gone forever. And perhaps even $2 right now, that we may never see that again. But for certain, I absolutely believe that the dollar getting XRP under $1, it is history. It's gone. And when you think about that at one time you could literally buy 10,000 XRP for $1,700 when it was 17 to 19 cents. And it stayed there for such a long time, and it got fudded and poo-pooed and you name it, every kind of mud slung up against it and all that. And yet it could have changed people's lives. And for some, it did. Hey, it changed Judy and I's life, that's for sure. And I have talked to people. I have been coaching people since 2022 of guys, I'm telling you, practically every walk of life. Medical field, I've talked to doctors and surgeons and dentists and you name it. In the financial realm, I've talked to, accountants, CPAs, in the legal realm, lawyers, all kinds of different lawyers of different, business owners, CEOs, CFOs, CIOs, you name it, in the government, high level officials, stuff like that. I've even talked to senators. Do you know that? Now, I'm not going to tell you who, but I have. And guys, every one of them is looking to get very strategic in what they're doing, and they're trying to invest in themselves to understand as much as they possibly can. Don't you think that makes common sense? I do. I mean, tell you what, we're investing in this space. A few bucks out there just to educate yourself, to get yourself ready, makes perfect sense to me, I'll tell you that. In fact, Judy and I, when we were going through this, we actually paid thousands of dollars to folks to kind of get guidance in this space. Now, some of that money was well spent and some of it wasn't, but we actually were willing to go out there and invest in ourselves while we got our seed in the ground. And guys, I'm going to tell you something. That's where you want to be thinking. Get yourself ready, because if you're listening to all this stuff here, and you're allowing your emotions to be at the end of a string, just like that yo-yo, up and down, then you are about to get yourself so wrecked, you won't even know what happened. It'll literally, you cannot digest it. It moves so fast. And it's hard to put into words. And I try my best to communicate what that looks like, because a lot of people want to know, David, what was it like in a major bull run? Well, I try to share it, but it is very, very difficult to articulate, because it's nothing like you've ever experienced in your life. And it is almost impossible to mentally digest. And this is why you've got to have all your emotions in check and understand the psychology of this market and everything else that goes with it, and get yourself strategic. That's really why. Now, having said all that, one thing I can tell you is this. It is a race to the trough, I kid you not. And for a lot of these exchanges, you know what ended up happening? Well, the servers would go down because they couldn't handle the traffic. Not that the exchanges were doing anything nefarious. The servers were going down. Well, in 2020, I was listening to Ben Armstrong on one of his podcasts there, and he was talking about Caleb and Brown, and that's when Judy and I signed up for Caleb and Brown. And I love the fact that you could just get on the phone and you could talk to your broker. And by the way, as many times as you liked, without having to pay a penny for doing that. And then setting up an account. It was absolutely free. They KYC'd you, absolutely for sure, which I really want. Look, if you got an organization not going to KYC you, then what else are they not complying with? That would make me very, very nervous. But they do, and they go through that. They have offices in New Jersey, Florida, and of course they come out of Australia. And you don't pay a dime, even if you decided to custody your assets with them. And by the way, they're using Fireblocks, same thing that I Trust Capital uses and all that kind of stuff. And it is not all commingled, it's all segregated. And Fireblocks ensures that, guys. So I'll tell you what, it doesn't cost you a penny for that. But the only time you pay is when you buy and when you sell. But the luxury of being able to have that access is going to be big, and no withdrawal limits. You can literally take out as much as you like when you want to take it out. That's a big time deal too, because let's say your portfolio hit like $1 million. What are you going to wait 3 or 4 months to get that off of some of these other platforms? Seriously? I'm telling you. Well, Caleb and Brown, you don't have to do that. And guys, got a link right down there in the description of every one of these videos where you can sign up for Caleb and Brown. And I'll tell you what, full transparency, they do pay us a referral fee if you use that link. But whether you choose to use that or not, I think you owe it to yourself to at least go out and investigate if Caleb and Brown is a viable option for you. And by the way, having said that, I'll say this. You can have a Caleb and Brown account and still keep all these other ones open. It's not like oh, well, you got to have this, but you can't have that kind of a situation. I'll tell you, having as many off-ramps as you need is going to be vitally, vitally important. Absolutely, for sure. Guys, it is amazing to see what we're dealing with in this space, and I love it, love it, love it. I love coming out here. This is not work, guys. This is joy. This is my passion, my desire. It's more than a hobby. It's something I truly love. And the best part about it, the thing I love the most about it, is you right there. That's right. You would not believe the amount of encouragement and just, stuff that you've helped us with. I mean, you guys got me off of, taking coffee, made cream. And by the way, I'm going to throw this out there. So I was scheduled to get a root canal. And, you guys know I went to the dentist and everything like that. Well, I listened to all the comments and I started researching all these root canals and that. I'm not getting that root canal, guys. I'm getting the whole thing extracted. There's no way I'm putting myself through that. But it's because of you that happened. And I want to say thank you, because I would have never thought that way. I've already had one root canal, but I'm now getting that pulled along with the other one. And by the way, when I do that, I have to go to a dental surgeon now to get that done. So when I go and do that, Judy is lining up some big time major interviews for that week where she's going to be interviewing one person right after another. There's some big names in there, people you know and love, like Jake Claver. We're going to get different people. I don't want to give it away because that's kind of her deal. But there's going to be a lot of those guys in there. They've already committed to doing it. It's going to be really amazing and fantastic. You guys are going to love it. So I'll tell you what, until later on today when we have another fantastic video for you guys, have a fabulous one and take care.